If a patient comes to you and you test them, or they come with tests already, and it says they have 20% kidney function left, an 80-year-old man, what do you tell them to do? What do you do when your kidney's already down to 20%? What should they do?
We see a lot of patients coming in with advanced kidney dysfunction. In fact, a lot of people come to us, when they've been told, well, you need to get ready for dialysis. And so we put them on, of course, a whole food plant-based diet. We start them on raw. We put them on extensive raw foods. We may do a little juice feasting intermittently with that. And we do see, recovery. Some of the difficulty is that you get initial recovery, and then it's just a matter of, maintaining compliance. But interestingly enough, the nephrologists will routinely tell the patients to decrease the protein in the diet when they get to the later stage renal dysfunction. So they'll say, go on a low protein diet, meaning decrease the amount of animal protein that you're consuming. We just take them to the logical extent of just removing all of it. And we've had good results in terms of patients get a GFR of 20 or 15. I'm treating a couple of patients now who are right on the threshold of needing dialysis, and we're just keeping them just above that threshold with a plant-based diet. But sometimes it gets a little bit difficult because when patients start to feel better, they have a bite, drop a crumb, similar to the earlier example you gave. Well, I just ate a little fish every now and then, or I went on a cruise, and when you're at that stage, you have very little reserve. So those patients can be very tricky because you can turn them around, but the difficulty is keeping them on, a 100% plant-based diet, keeping them off preservatives, keeping them off, even eating oatmeal at a fast food place will have chemical preservatives and various things in it. And so they're thinking they're eating oatmeal, but it's oatmeal plus other garbage. And so you have to be very precise, and we have a food classification system that I talk about in my book, and it not only talks about what you eat, but how the food's prepared, and they follow up with our nutritionist. So you have to be very careful with those patients. And the key part is being very precise in terms of prescribing food for these patients.
The kidneys, these amazing, stunning organs, are pressure-driven filters. They require a head of pressure to force that blood through the kidney filter membranes. And the most common cause of kidney failure is blood vessel disease, as atherosclerosis that clogs up the coronary arteries, also clogs up the renal arteries going to the kidneys. The blood flow gets choked down pretty rapidly. Poiseuille's law in physics says that the flow of a liquid through a tube, blood through an artery, will decrease by the fourth power of the decrease of the radius. And so as those arteries choke down, the blood flow diminishes rapidly, the pressure diminishes rapidly, and their filtration goes down. Well, Poiseuille's law works in reverse, and on a whole food plant-based diet, as the plaques start melting away, both in the big renal arteries going into the kidney, as well as all the thousands of small arteries inside the kidney, if they open up just a little bit, due to Poiseuille's law, you get this huge increase in blood flow increased by the fourth power of the radius. And so we not infrequently see people who've been told, you're headed for dialysis machine, this thing is irreversible. You get them on a whole food plant-based diet and start melting away those plaques even a little bit, and we see these increases in glomerular filtration rate. We see the increases in kidney function. And so now if the person had their kidneys poisoned from mercury or whatever, that's something else. But for these folks who have this common vascular blood vessel cause of their renal failure, they're far from hopeless, and you can at least stabilize it, if not improve their kidney function. So absolutely, plant-based nutrition to the rescue for these folks as well.
I was just going to say, don't you find it interesting that the nephrologist recommends the low-protein diet when they're heading toward kidney failure, instead of to keep them from heading toward kidney failure? They're crystal clear when they get to that point, but up until that point, it doesn't matter what you eat.